Hey everybody. I know recently I talked about the first time I met Buzz, and I thought today I'd talk about the another memorable show that I played with the Melvins, and probably one of my favorite concert going experiences. And that was at the Tropicana in Olympia, a pretty famous and beloved venue. It did not last that long. It was in, if I remember correctly, I didn't go to it that many times. John went to it a lot more times than I did, but it was in downtown Olympia. And I remember it being a store. It was kind of this long, skinny store that you would see. I think it had like a checkerboard linoleum floor, if I remember correctly. Anyway, you have this long, skinny store. Basically, they turned into a venue. And a couple memorable things about it as it was, it had a really tall PA amps, and they weren't very steady. I remember them always being on the verge of tipping over. Anyway, this show here, and I'll show you, I have posted 2 or 3 songs from the soundboard of us. Vampire Circus was our band at that point. This was in between ATG and The Grind, and at this point we had David French, who also helped us with the Helter, or with, not Helter, but Rock and Rail tape. He was John's good friend. I also knew him as well. He was singing for us. I was on guitar. George was on bass, and John was still on drums. I think at this point John was playing in Noxious Fumes as well, so it was kind of a combo platter for him. Anyway, it was supposed to be Melvins, us, and March of Crimes, and we were the middle band. And if I remember correctly, March of Crimes did not show up to this show, or for some reason they couldn't play. So it ended up being Melvins played first, and then we played, and then Melvins played again. And at that point, I had a really terrible amp, like a little PV backstage or something, just not good enough to handle playing at a live venue, really, or even being mic'd and doing a good job. So I remember Buzz offered to let me play through his amp, which was amazing. He had a big old, like, shag carpet covered cabinet. I don't remember what the actual amp head was. I also remember at that point, I think his guitar, it might have been, I don't know if it was an SG or Les Paul. I forget what he used to play back then. You could probably find old tape or old video of them back around that time, around 84, 85, and see what he played. I do remember that he had the Rock and Roll Over sticker that you would find in Rock and Roll Over, the album. If you ever look at that, you can see that logo they had of the 4 faces of Kiss, and that was what he had stuck to his guitar at that point, if I remember correctly. Anyway, it was a pretty good show, a lot of fun. The only live show, maybe other than possibly a Hell House show, that we played with David French as Vampire Circus. I do remember towards the end of the show, or our set, someone had this big stuffed bunny or bear or something like that, and it was kind of being thrown around. And at some point it ended up on stage, and I think David French ripped it apart, so there was like stuffing everywhere. So it was kind of like his Ozzy Osbourne moment. And if I remember correctly, we also closed by doing a cover of Nothing by Negative Approach that was pretty good. Anyway, I will link, I think, 3 of the songs from that set at the bottom of this, and you can hear them, the live recordings from that show of our band, Vampire Circus. And I'm sure somewhere around there's probably live board recordings of the Melvins from that show too. Pretty good recording for a board recording. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll have more stories about bands and the Melvins and the Hell House and God knows what as I think of them. Take care. Bye.